lesson on simplifying expressions. A term that we'll need to identify when simplifying expressions is called a coefficient. Coefficient represents the number connected to a variable. It's typically placed before a variable and is considered a multiplier. So for example, 3x. The number connected to this variable is the 3. So the coefficient here is the 3. And so when we have a number connected to a variable, that's the number we deal with when we're talking about this like terms situation. When we have negative x, there's still an x there. A lot of times students think, oh, well, there's not a number there. There is. The coefficient would be negative 1. Mathematicians don't like to write negative 1x because it's redundant. If we can write negative x and save some ink, this means the same thing as this negative 1x. We just don't typically write it that way. Doesn't have any bearing on the meaning. Another example would be 14y. The coefficient here would be 14. Now with the coefficient, we might be talking about like terms. Like terms are terms that have the same variable connected to it. Doesn't necessarily mean the number. So if we think this 7y, oh, I see 7 again, those are not like terms because they do not have the same variable connected. The like terms are the terms that have the x's connected with them. So sometimes I like to help my brain and I put circles around these like terms that have x's. The y's, I might use a different shape, such as squares. And the final like terms are those that don't have any variable connected to them. Let's use a different shape, maybe triangles. Now, when we have all these like terms, in these examples we're going to be trying to do, we're going to want to simplify, meaning combining our like terms. So if we combined all of the x's inside those purple circles, we would have 22 of them. If we combined all of the y's, we would have 33. And if we combined everything in the triangle, 17 plus 3 plus 7, we would have 27. So our answer from a lot of terms sitting out here, simplifying it means to break it down into simplest terms, to put all of the like terms together so that we only have one set of circles, one set of these squares, one set of the triangles. If that helps your brain think about the math differently. In example 1, we are asked to simplify. And in order to simplify, we want to identify the like terms, such as the x's. So the terms with the x, we got 5x, and the other term is 9x. Okay. The other like terms that we have, the 4 does not have a variable connected to it. We could connect that with the negative 2. Notice how the sign is inside the shape. We have to include the sign that's out front, meaning this is a negative 2. So when we go to combine like terms, we have a positive 5x and a positive 9x. We can combine that down into one term. If I add 5x plus 9x, I would end up with 14. But in the end, we're going to combine it with our 4 minus 2. So we combine the terms that are in the triangles. Now, you can think, well, when I combine, do I add or subtract? Well, combining, you might think about adding, but remember, if you're going to add 4 plus, the term inside there is a negative 2. And so another redundant thing is mathematicians don't like to write a plus and a negative next to each other. We like to just leave it as 4 minus 2. It's easier for our brains to process that. So if I have to combine 5x plus 9x, I'm really just combining the numbers, 5 plus 9. leaves me with 14. And then when I do 4 minus 2, I'm left with a positive number. So I'm going to put a positive sign next, 2. And that would be my final answer. In example 2, we're asked to simplify. Again, identify the like terms. So all the terms with the x's, including the sign out front. So we got the negative x, the negative 7x, positive 4x. Now let's check the other like terms. So I'll put triangles around those. The negative 12, negative 13, and positive 17. In order to combine our like terms, we need to combine all of the x's. So the negative x, the negative 7x, and the positive 4x. We're going to combine those all together, in which if I combine a negative 1 plus a negative 7, that's going to leave me with negative 8x. And then I need to combine it with the positive 4x. So negative 8 plus 4 means I'm going towards 0, and I'm going to be left with negative 4x. We're going to combine that with all the terms in the triangles. So the negative 12 minus 13 plus 17, we need to combine those together. Let's break it down. Let's combine these two first. Negative 12 minus 13. Well, I see a negative 10 and a negative 10. That gives me negative 20. 2 minus 3. This would leave me with negative 25. And then if I add 17 to that, it would leave me with a negative 8. So instead of putting plus negative 8, I can just put my result as a negative. So I'm going to put the negative sign and then 8 coming after that. That's my final answer. So simplify means I'm taking something that might be 6 terms long and I'm paring it down to something that is only 2 terms by combining all of the like terms.